Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is Wolf Totem by The Who. So this is a different The Who. I've done a reaction to The Who, W-H-O, on the channel already. It was awesome. This is The Who, H-U. And Wiki says that it's pronounced Who, so I'm going with that. They are a Mongolian band. They started in 2016. This song came out in 2019. And yeah, I am absolutely intrigued to find out what this group is all about. And in doing so, what else are we going to do with this music? I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we dive into all different aspects of the music, how it's composed, all the instruments. Ooh, that should be interesting with this one. And how do we relate to it? Why do we like it? Or why do we not like it? So, without any further delay, let's listen. Okay, let's go. Wow. Oh. I have not seen anything like this before. There's so much going on here that I'm almost tongue-tied. Okay. We've got a Mongolian biker group. That's cool. Like modern-day horses coming into battle. Saw things in the subtitles about fighting lions and tigers and stuff, so coming to battle. The instruments and the vocals. Again, for me, vocals just seem like another instrument, and the sound they produce just happens to also include words. So to me, the way they were singing, especially because I don't know the language that they are singing in, it just sounds like another timbre of an instrument. And wow, was it interesting. Okay, so I saw two other instruments. I haven't seen the drums yet. I really want to see the drums. But one was like an upright thing, and then we've got a guitar thing. And the guitar, it's very round, but the roundness of it and how narrow the fingerboard is, or the neck, it looks kind of like a banjo, but I know it's not. Well, but the timbre of it could be. I don't know. But then the upright thing, it was like a bass, and I noticed that he was using a modern classical bow. I believe a cello bow. It was too big to be a violin or viola bow, but it was not big enough to be a bass bow. But he was holding it like a string bassist would. So that's interesting. Okay. Well, I can't wait. Let's just keep going. Here we go.
Bir aşkın bir ve sadatın vurdu, barı sürü ve
into a middle section here. Wow. I have goosebumps and it hasn't stopped. Oh my gosh. I love this, y'all. I love this. Oh, the drumming and the chorus and the throat singing. There's throat singing in here. And the deep bass sounds from these men. And I'm trying to keep up with the words, but there's just so much to look at here. The instrument with the bow, it only has 2 strings. Love it. Violin, viola, cello all have 4 strings. Most string basses have 4 strings, but they can also have a 5th string. But then sometimes one of their strings can have an extension where they can reach down a few notes lower. It's pretty cool. Oh, I would love to know the tuning of this instrument. I'm going to have to do some research. Like, I just want to know the name of it. We'll get there, right? Yeah, that's one reason why I do this, is that I get to learn all of this information. So if anyone out there knows that, put it in the comments. Okay, I love the chorus, and it seemed like it just got better as it went on. The verse, chorus, just the chanting, ba, ooh, ah, with the chorus. The chorus, y'all. They're not all singing the throat singing, but it's just a primal sound, and it's awesome. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a little tiny bit so we can get into this little middle section here. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen here. Okay. Wow, that was everything I wanted it to be. And maybe more. In the classical music world, we sometimes get a little pigeonholed into the Western European classical style, and that ends up including a lot of basically dead guys And and they kind of just get played over and over again, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms. And there's nothing wrong with playing that music. But I believe the classical world is trying to open up to more world music. And at the same time, as we all sort of become more connected across the globe through internet, technology, there are more platforms for the world music to approach us. It's just sort of an evolution. So I am so happy to be witnessing this. Tribal meets metal. So is this tribal metal? Warrior metal? So I'm not sure what they are speaking from. I don't know if this is like a traditional war chant or some kind of connection within the community of men. I would like to find out. So again, if you know, let me know, put in the comments. But musically, okay, I have to first talk about the guitar. First of all, it's the coolest looking guitar I've ever seen. But this dude was able to really rock out on it. And I was waiting for something like that. But we got it. So let's go back to that. I loved it. Yeah, look at him go. So it's like the guitar and the bass kind of combined, but he's just rocking out. All right, we might actually continue on because the 2-stringed instrument is also really rocking out here. Let's just continue. I just love the sound of the bass, the bassness. All right, so the 2-stringed instrument, he was using tremolo, where you do really quick bows like this, and you're almost shaking the bow, and it gives it a really mysterious, almost anxious sound. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so tremolo is when you do this. It's usually at the tip of the bow and not down here because you've got too much weight here. If you do it down here, it doesn't quite do the right thing. And you can do it loudly. That's for more intense moments. But if you have a whole string section in the background doing this, it can be sort of creepy and, anxious. So we saw a lot of that happening. But then also he was doing things with the strings. So with string instruments, we have what we call harmonics, where you just lightly touch the string and it rings. So here's the A string, and then I just lightly touch it halfway up and it just rings. And same thing here, I'm on a different string playing the same note, but then if I lightly touch that, it does another note. So what he was doing was sort of moving his fingers all up and down the strings. And it gives sort of electric, sort of supernatural sounds. It's really cool. But what I did notice, one thing he was doing, and it's hard to do this on the violin because it's smaller. The instrument is smaller. Cellos can do this really well. We also have a thing called false harmonics. This is really getting into string technique here, but it's where you put this finger down and then lightly touch that. It's a different kind of harmonic. But with the cello, what they can do is they can do a false harmonic like that, way up high, and go like that, and it sounds like a bird. do, 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 like that. And that's what this string instrument was doing at the end. And then they had a bird that was making the similar sound afterwards. So again, this is what it sounds like on the violin if I'm just using one finger. But that bird sound, choo, 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 you have to use two fingers, one down solidly and then the light one behind it like that and go down. And again, it's just harder to do on the violin or viola. The other thing is he was using sort of like a really rough flautando, which just means flute-like. So if I play regularly, like that, but flautando, and you tend to do that over the black part here, over the fingerboard, and it just gives it sort of an airy sound. And eventually it almost starts to sound like a flute. So I was seeing all sorts of techniques, and I don't necessarily think that they are classically trained. I'm not assuming that. I'm assuming that he's just able to get the sounds out of the instrument that he wants to get. And in the classical world, we just happen to have certain names for that. If there are names for it in his technique, I would love to know that too. Oh, actually, I want to go back and hear that little seagull thing, just so you all know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll point it out. Right there at the end. He was sort of rummaging around and he finally found it. Oh, and then they have the bird sound after that. Kind of trying to locate it, and he got it. Choo, 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 choo. It's hard. You have to get your fingers in exactly the right spot, and they have to be closer together up here, and as you go down, you have to spread the fingers out. It's tricky. When cellists can do that, they feel kind of accomplished. And it's not completely a technical thing. It's just kind of for fun. But how neat that this instrument can do the same thing. Okay, so now I want to get into the vocals. So I definitely heard just good old throat singing. But then the rest of it was sort of a combination. And then combined with the pronunciation of this language, it's very closed and there's lots of rolled R's. And so a lot of the notes are coming to a close. For me, since I don't know what these words are, I was reading the subtitles, but to me, it just sounded like more sounds coming from an instrument. And as a vocalist who has sung in several wonderful choirs over the course of my career, I've sung in tons of different languages, and the diction, the pronunciation is really important. And it also, like if you pronounce it wrong, it's not just an issue for that language. But if you have your mouth in the wrong shape, it can also adversely affect the sound of that note. And I have to say, it's actually really hard to sing choral music in English because the way we speak it and the way we need to sing it is very, very different. Like you don't want to ever spread your mouth too far, and we don't want to close to the R too much. And we sometimes leave consonants off, and you have to make sure that they're there in the words if you're singing them. But I just remember learning these different foreign languages for a choral experience. And I do know what the translation means, but again, it's almost like an instrument technique. This mouth shape for this note, and then change to this mouth shape for that note with a hard consonant in between, and end together at the end of this word. And it becomes more choreography underneath all the beauty of the music. So that's what I was hearing with this, is the way they were delivering this language through music. I love how it translates through the music. Let's hear a little bit of. Yeah, so I'm hearing two different kinds of rolls, like a r in the forward, then the h in the back. And again, everything is just really, really closed. But when they do open up, the vowels are very short, very very spread, which is one thing that we tend not to do in formal choral singing. Wow, I want to hear a little bit more. And I love how the chorus behind there, the call and answer. I love it. And this isn't quite throat singing, it's like half throat singing. That guitar. Okay, and now I'm seeing a few other instruments there too. I'm not sure why I didn't notice them before, but yeah, there are two other instruments. So I guess there we have the bass sound, two basses, and then the lead guitar there. So I do like how they kind of worked up to it though. We hear the higher tones and then bring in, like wait for just the right time to bring in the bass. And then along with the percussion, that is an awesome percussion sound. So I want to get to the point where I got goosebumps. It was awesome. Yeah, there's the throat singing. There. Right there. There was a boom. That's what started my goosebumps here. Let's hear it again. Ready? And you don't hear it that many more times, I think. Ooh, and you hear lots of air through some of those softer consonants. That's what we have to do with German sometimes. You don't want to say, like if you're singing Nacht, N-A-C-H-T, night, you don't want to have it be a hard C sound. It's more like Nacht. So, you know, sometimes we say it like Bach. I don't always go Bach. It's Bach, just a little soft there. I'm hearing some of those in here as well. Fascinating language and diction. Wow, this was just something else. Okay, so that was The Wolf Totem by The Who. And it was fabulous. I was just fascinated. And it was something new, mixed with something old. So how many people are in the band? There were lots of guys there. Is it just like the main 4 or 5 guys there in the front? And they just have the chorus? I don't know. But I love the singing. I love the diction. I love the instruments. The look of the band. Like at the beginning, that glove that had the skeleton and then like the skeleton ring. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they mean business. Yeah, this is a cool biker band for sure. If you know more about this band, let me know. If you have other songs of theirs to recommend, let me know. And is this going on my playlist? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So don't forget to do all the things, like and subscribe, coffee, throne, become a channel member. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. And keep listening.